Okay, welcome everyone. This is no good. Welcome everyone. As we today's shir is being specially dedicated by Aaron Swade. It's a different type of party than he was talking about, as he's asking us to learn for his father Shol ben Yitzchak on his yahrzeit. His neshama should have a great aliyah. He should be a Melz Yosher for his family, for all of us and all of Klal Yisrael, and he should have a lichtige Gan Eden. We also learned for Yitzi Fuchs, Yitzchak Mordechai ben Esther Bracha, who's in ICU, and he's recovering from a very long, open heart, intricate surgery. So we learned for him, and we also learned for Yisrael ben Nechama, who is going in for surgery tomorrow. Yitz asked us special to say Kvitel Tilim for him, so we will honor his request. Shir Lamalo says, Einai Eloharim, Me'ayin Yovai Ezri Me'im Adinoi Oisei Shemayim V'oretz, Al Yitein Lamoit Reglecha, Al Yonim Shemrecha, Hinei Lo Yonim V'lo Yishan Shemer Yisrael, Adinoi Shemrecha, Adinoi Tzilcha, Al Yad Yiminecha, Yomi Mashemesh Lo Yakeka V'yorech Ba'layla, Adinoi Yishmarcha Mikol Ra, Yishmar Es Nafshecha, Adinoi Yishmar Tzeitzcha V'yecha Mi'ata V'adolam. We are dedicated by A.B. Spry and family for the safety of the soldiers, for Isser Zev ben Yuta by Shimon Klein, Lili Nishmas Asher Anshel ben Yuda, Gittel by Shimon Pinchas, and by Irving Fishbaum for his Gesund Isser ben Rezel. We are holding over here on this Wednesday evening with a very special Chumash year planned for right after the daf. We welcome in Stephen Holtzman, Irving Fishbaum, Mark Frankel, Aaron Swade, Marshall Castle, Mel Zachter, Dr. Guy, Nachman Chapler, Baruch Ian, Elia Yaffe, Dr. Black, Michal, Shimon Klein, Yitzi Muller, Ruvain Pollack, Rabbi Kranz, Menachem Umansky, Shalom Fogel, Moshe Lehman, Naftali Javelin, Ilya Shutman, Abe Arbach, Shelley Zeitlin, David Gestetner here in Shul. We have Reb Blumenfeld, Gedalia Engel, Reb Kramer, Rich Leonard, Saba, and Ruvain Shannon. We're having a problem with the Kol HaLashon tonight. There's something wrong with the phone. I can't figure out what it is, but we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, we are holding on Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph, 4 lines from the top of the Amud. We raised a question, and that is if Aaron, who's been making a lot of trouble tonight, if Aaron put his shor in Marshall's property, and Marshall said he would watch it, did he just mean that he'd watch it that his own shvarim won't damage it? Or did he mean that he would watch it that something from the outside also won't damage it? So the Gemara says, Tashma, Hichnish Shairai, L'chatze Balabayis Shaloi Bereshus. If let's say, Aaron put his shor in Marshall's property without permission, or bought shor mimakam achar, and a shor from another place. In other words, it's a shor. It's a shor from Mark Frankel's shor came from another place. V'nakchai, and gored it potter. But v'mhichnas bereshus, but if he put it in with Marshall's permission, chayiv. So the Gemara says, man potter or man chayiv. Who's potter and who's chayiv? Lav potter balachotzer, v'chayiv balachotzer. It means that if Marshall didn't give reshus, then Marshall isn't responsible. But if Marshall gave reshus, then he's responsible because he was supposed to watch Aaron shor even from a outside menace. Says the Gemara, no, that's not what it means. Loi, potter balashar v'chayev balashar. It's talking about Mark. Is he chayev that his shor damaged Aaron shor? Is he chayev? So the Gemara says, but if it's Mark, what's the difference whether Aaron had permission to put the shor there or not. The bottom line is Mark's shor damaged his shor? What's the difference if he had permission from Marshall? Whether Mark is liable should have nothing to do with whether Aaron had permission from Marshall or not. Says, well, it does. Because it depends how much Mark is going to have to pay. You see, if Aaron had no permission, so then Mark's shor is a tam, it only pays a chatzi nezek. But if Aaron had permission, then it's considered like it's in the rishus of the nizik, because since he has permission to be there, it's like it's his premises. And if it's his premises, it's going according to Reb Tarfon, who holds Meshuna Keren b'chatzer hanizik, even a tam pays a nezik shalom. And that's what the Gemara says. Imrei hamani Reb Tarfoni, dama Meshuna Keren, unusual Keren b'chatzer hanizik, if it's in the premises of the victim, nezik shalom mishalom. So Bereshus, if Aaron had permission from Marshall, Havilei Karen B'chatzer HaNizik, it's like it's his property. And therefore Mark will have to pay a Nezik Shalom, a Shalom Nezik Shalom. Shalei Bereshus, but if he didn't have permission to be there, Havilei Karen B'Reshus Aram, it's similar to Karen B'Reshus Aram, and since it's a tam, Mark only has to pay a Chatzi Nezik. So when it says Potter, it means Potter from a Nezik Shalom, and he only has to pay a Chatzi Nezik, V'loi Mishalom, El Chatzi Nezik. Now the Gemara talks about a different, as we're going to welcome in Philippe over here for our 25th Zoomer of the evening. We're missing Berish. Wonder where he is. Maybe he's very busy before the holiday season. Oh, Richard Rosenweig is here, and he's not hiding. It must be a treat, a post-Hanukkah treat. Richard, I want to tell you that you're very handsome, so you have nothing to be worried about. Even Philippe shows up when you come on. Anyway, gentlemen, now we're holding at the two dots, and it is 15 lines from the top of Mem Ches Amud Aleph. Hahi itzisa, the olsa lemeifa bahu beisa. There was a woman that went in to bake in Marshall's house. When it says hahu beisa, without any further, definition, it means Marshall's house. So hahi itzisa, the olsa lemeifa bahu beisa. She went in to bake, and Marshall gave her permission. Now, I want to give you a scoop over here. I want to give you a scoop that you should understand what's going on over here. When a woman bakes, she raises her hand when she's kneading, and her sleeves fall down. They didn't have tight-fitting sleeves. And therefore, it's not sneistic for a man to be around. And therefore, Marshall, when he gives her permission, it's tacit. It's understood that Marshall will have to clear out, and therefore it's going to be her responsibility to watch that nothing happens. So let's just bear that in mind, when we see the Gemara unfold. A woman came into Marshall's premises with permission to bake, he has a pizza oven. So, Asa Barucha Demari de Besa, a goat belonging to Marshall came, Achla Lalisha, he gobbled up the woman's dough, Chavel, he became overheated, Umeis. So, Chayva Rava Lishlume Dmei Barcha. Rava made the woman pay Marshall for his goat. It's a Pillsbury goat. It made the woman pay for Marshall's goat. So now this runs contrary to what we said yesterday. We said yesterday that Havalei Shaloi Teichel, the goat shouldn't have eaten it. And remember we said that you can't be considered a mazik if the animal ate that which it's not that which it's not his. So chayva rava l'shlume d'mei baruch. So the Gemara says right away, lema pliga ad Rav. Let's say that he argues on Rav. The Amar Rav floated the idea yesterday that havila shaloi teichel, the animal shouldn't have eaten it. Says the Gemara, Imrei, hachiyashta. What's the comparison? Hasam shaloi bereshus. There is where the person came in without permission. And like kabul alei netirusa, there was no acceptance of watching. Hacha bereshus, over here where she came in bereshus. Now, this sounds nutty. How can you be more responsible where you come in with permission than when you come in without permission? And the only way we could understand this is with the scoop that I told you earlier. Because since she came in with permission to bake, she knew that the owner is going to clear the premises to offer her privacy. So the Gemara says, a woman came in to grind wheat by the Balbayis Shaloi B'Rishus, and the animal of the owner ate the wheat, potter, because she came in without rishus. If the animal got damaged, then the person is chayev, and we said that meant if it slipped on the food. But time and shaloi berishus, but it's only if you came in without permission. Ha berishus, but if you came in with permission, potter. So you see, if you come in with permission, you're not responsible for damages. Says the Gemara, Amrei litchain chitin, to grind wheat, the owner doesn't have to clear the premises. Grinding doesn't involve lifting the hands. Came in the loibayitz niusa, since it doesn't need privacy, loibayitz niusa midday, it doesn't need privacy at all. Loibay misalke mavisa dechatzer nafshayu. He doesn't need to clear the premises, and therefore, since the person had permission, it's upon him to watch his animal. But when she comes in to bake, coming in to bake is a different story, as we said, because Kaven de Boyitz Niusa, since she needs privacy, she lifts her hands, the sleeves fall down. Marshall is a very God-fearing person, clears the premises. Upon her falls the responsibility to make sure that the animal, the goat, doesn't eat from the food. Now, in the event that Aaron's ox comes in, so now Rava gives us a scenario as we welcome in Pesach Sigelman. It's wonderful to have you, Pesach. And Aaron ran away for a minute. He was a little worried, but it's okay, Aaron, you're all right. Now the Gemara gives us an interesting scenario. Amarava. If, let's say, Aaron's ox goes into Marshall's premises without permission, and made a mess, dug pits, trenches, and caves in Marshall's pristine lawn. So, Balashar chayev b'nichsei chatzir. So Aaron is chayev for the damage in the courtyard. But in the event that somebody walks into Marshall's courtyard and falls down into the pit, and we're talking about where Marshall, after the pit was dug, allowed the public to walk through his courtyard. So, Obal Chotzer Chayev b'niskei habar. Marshall is chayiv for people falling into the pit. If If Marshall allowed people to come in and Chatzkel fell into the pit, Marshall is chayiv. Now, you might wonder, but the pasuk says, Ki yichra ishbar. It's only if the person digs the bar, not if an animal digs the bar. And here it was Aaron's animal that dug the bar. And Afal gav damamak ki yichra ishbar v'lo sharbar. But Marshall had ample time to fill in the bar. And he's liable because he didn't fill in the bar. Or to cover it for that matter. And he didn't fill it up. It's as if he dug it, and therefore he's chayav. New case. V'amarava. If Aaron's shar came into Marshall's premises without permission, v'hizik es balabayis, and it damaged Marshall, or balabayis huzik boy, or Marshall stumbled on it, chayiv. Aaron is chayiv. Your ox had nothing, no right to be in the premises and damage Marshall, or be a stumbling block for Marshall. Ravatz, but if it lies down, potter. So the Gemara says that doesn't make sense. Because it lies down, that makes it exempt. Mishum de ravatz potter. Amra papa my ravatz. What does it mean that it reclined? It means shehirbitz glolim. It means that he laid down and relieved himself. And now there's feces on Marshall's property, and Marshall dirtied his clothing. Oh, so the reason why Aaron is potter is because the dung has a din of bar. And bar is potter on kalim. The havye glolim bar, v'lo matzino bar, shechaya b'yas kalim. We know it says shar v'loi adam, hamar v'loi kalim. So that's why he's not responsible for Marshall's Seville Row suit. Says the Gemara, that's good, honey. That any stumbling block is considered a bar. But according to Rav, that says it's only if you renounce it, otherwise it has a din of shar, which is chayiv and kalim, ma'ikalamema. So the Gemara says simple. Most people, the feces of their animal, they're mafker. Imrei stam galolim, ifkurei mifkalo. Most people renounce their feces, and since their feces were renounced, therefore, even according to Rav, it's bar, and bar is potter on kalim. Another case, and in case you just came in, Sandy Grunfeld is joining us now. We are holding on Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph now, 5 lines from the bottom. Busy schedule tonight, as when we finish the shir, we will then move on to the Chumash shir, and then after the Chumash shir, Yitzhak Hashem, the Mishnayos. Don't let me forget the Mishnayos, because I didn't record it earlier. I wasn't here for Mincha. V'amarava nichnas l'kotzer balabayis shalei b'rishus. Aaron is up to trouble the whole night. His shar enters Marshall's premises without permission. The hizik is balabayis and damaged Marshall, or balabayis huzik boy, or Marshall stumbles on it, chayiv. His ziku balabayis, but if the owner damaged it, potter. Now, what does it mean if the owner damaged it? So Rav Papa qualifies this. That's only if he didn't realize it was there. Aval have a yodabe, but if he realized it was there, his ziku balabayis, if Marshall damaged Aaron's axe, chayiv. Why? Because Aaron says, look, I know I'm there without permission, and you have a right to forcibly evict my ox, but you have no right to damage it. My time, Mishim Da'amalei, because he tells him, hey, this okay, even though you could evict my ox, Lazuke, but to damage it, less luck rishusa. That you have no permission. And they go according to their reasoning. The Amar Rava, Papa, Rava said, or others say, Rav Papa said, as we turn to Mem Ches Amud Beis, Shneim Bereshus, if two people have permission to be walking, they're both walking in the Rishus Harabim, or Shneim Shalei Bereshus, or they're both out of order, they're both running in the Rishus Harabim. Hiziku Zazeh, if they damage one another, Chayavin, right? Because if they damage one another, we know that Adamu Loilam, right? It makes no difference whether they had intent or not, because Adamu Loilam. Husku Zebezeh, if they got damaged one with the other, right? If they got damaged one on the other, not it was not active, but they got damaged one on the other, Peturin. Then the halacha is that it's potter. There is no liability. If they in the case where they stumbled on one another, since he had permission to be there, so it's not his fault because he had permission to be there. Or if they both didn't have permission to be there, therefore he's not responsible. But Taima d'shneim bereshus or shneim shalei bereshus. Aval echad bereshus ve'echad shalei bereshus. If one is permission and one doesn't have permission, like our case over here, where Aaron's ox had no permission to be in Marshall's premises. Marshall had permission to be there, but Aaron didn't have permission. The bereshus potter, the one that had permission, that's Marshall is potter. Shalei bereshus chayiv, but that's only where he wasn't aware, as Rashi says. That Rashi says that Marshall is potter, Bain Hezek to be a dime, whether he damaged it actively, Bain Hezek to Memela, or Marshall's or Aaron's animal got damaged on Marshall. It's Marshall is potter, but ubedelo yodole, like Rav Papa gave a qualification. That's only where he wasn't aware. But if he was aware, then Marshall would be chayiv, because like Rav Papa explained, Aaron could say, you have the right to evict my animal, you have a right to say that you're not responsible for my animal, but you have no right to actively damage my animal. That you can't do. Now, the Mishnah says, Nafal labar v'hivish meimav chayiv. If Aaron's animal falls into Marshall's bar, and Aaron's animal was there without permission, and it falls into into Marshall's well, and ruins his drinking water, so Aaron is chayiv. Oh, now the Gemara says, Amar Rav Aleishanu ele shehivish b'shas nafila. That's only if it ruined the water when it was falling. Aval la'achar nafila, but if it ruined it afterwards, in other words, it took time for the water to be contaminated. It didn't happen instantaneously. So that means that afterwards it sat there, and when it sat there, it ruined the water. You know why? Because if it's after it sat there, then it has a din of bar. And the water has a din of kalim. And bar is potter on kalim. My time have a shar bar, or mayim kalim. The water is a utensil. So the Gemara says, even if it's yours, it's a bar. El Rav Dama Ad Mafker. Here he wasn't mafker his shar, so then it doesn't have a din of a bar, but rather a din of a shar, and he should be chayav for the water. Ma'ikal Meima says, no, you're right. El Iyetmar Hochi Yetmar. Amar Rav Leishanu El Shehivish Migufay. It's only if it contaminated the water from the foul stuff on its body. The body had lice, the body had bugs, The body had filth and contaminated from the mamoshes on its body. Aval hivish merechai, but if it became foul because of the smell of the animal, now that's an intangible. Reach is a davashem b'mamish, and therefore it's considered a grama. Potter. My time a grama ba'almo, it's considered causative. The grama ba'almo loy mechayiv, and for something causative, at least b'dinei adam, you're not chayiv. Can't be mechayiv in court. Now the Mishnah says something interesting. I mean, everything is interesting. Marshall is very interesting.
I worked really hard at it.
Yeah, I thought it was a natural. Now, in the event that Chatzkel's father or son was in the bar, the owner of the field was Chatzkel, and his father or his son was in the bar, and Aaron Shor fell into the bar and killed the father of the son. Now remember, you only pay kaifer if it's a mu'ud. How do you have a shor that's a mu'ud to fall into virus? V'amai hotamu, he's a first timer. A first timer doesn't pay kaifer. It's talking about where this isn't the first time it happened with this Aaron Shor. Aaron Shor falls into virus. Says the Gemara, if it likes to leap and trample people, it should have been put to death. It should be put to death. Amar Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef says, no, it's not talking about where it planned to jump on a person. It likes to eat stuff at the ledge of a bar, and it's not careful, and it falls into bars, but it didn't intend to kill, and therefore it's not put to death. Amar Rav Yosef, the chazi yeraika v'nafel. It saw vegetable and fell in. Shmuel says no, it's taka a first timer. I saw first timer. What kaifer is there? It's actually chatzi kaifer. Ula adds a third pshat. It's actually a first timer, but he holds that Meshuna Karen B'Shus HaNizik, it pays full kaifer even a tam. Ula Amar Reb Yosef Glili Amar Kareb Tarfin, the Amar Karen B'Chatz HaNizik Nezik Shalom Mishalom. For damages, it pays a Nezik Shalom as a tam. Hachanami, if it's killed somebody in the Rishus HaNizik, kaifer Shalom Mishalom. So now the Gemara says an interesting thing. Why did it say that it was Chatzkel's son or father? It could have said a person is in the bar. Why does it say the son or the father? So it's very good according to Ula, because it has to be B'Rishus HaNizik. If it's the son or the father, they had permission to be there. So it's Rishus HaNizik. Bishleim Ula Hainu Diktani Haya Aviv V'Benay L'Seichai. El Shmuel, that holds it's a mu'ud, then why do you have to be the father or the son? It doesn't have to be Rishus HaNizik. It could have been someone else. Says, you're right, but it just says who's usually in the owner's bar, his family. And therefore, it just says the normal case. But if Aaron had permission to bring in the shor, and Marshall's ox damaged it, Bal Chotzer Chayiv. Marshall is Chayiv. Rebbe says Marshall is not Chayiv until he says, I'm going to watch. Otherwise, he meant you could come in, but you could come in at your own risk. Itma Rava Mehilchas Kama. The halacha is like the Tanakama, that if Aaron had permission, Marshall is Chayiv. V'shmul Amehilchas Rebbe. The halacha is like Rebbe, enter at your own risk, and therefore Marshall is not Chayiv. Tanrabanan. These Gemaras have so many details. It's amazing.
I know Aaron's ox started trouble with my ox, so why would I be chayav? You know Aaron Zapps is a troublemaker. Why always me?
Well, you should look into it and learn Muslim. Tana Rabbanan. Or call after hours. Call Baruch Ian. Make a session. He's a therapist.
How did he get into this?
Well, he's in Florida. You know, he has time, so he'll listen to you. Now, Tana Rabbanan. Here, let's follow carefully what's being said. If Marshall says to Aaron, Knois Sharcha Vishamru. Marshall dotted the I's and crossed the T's. You bring it in, but guard it. So here's a chayiv. If Aaron's shar did damage to Marshall, he's chayiv. Huzak potter. If it gets damaged, it's potter because Marshall said it with no uncertain terms. Bring it in and watch it. Knois sharcha van yesh merenu. If Marshall says, bring in your shar and I'll watch it, then huzik chayiv. Then if Aaron's shar gets damaged, chayiv. Hizik, if it damages, if it damages, in other words, if Aaron's shar damaged Marshall's property, potter, because Marshall said, I'll watch it. So if you're following over here, there's obviously contradictory implications. Because in the first and the latter case, we said when you dot the I's and cross the T's. But what about if nobody said anything? So the ratio implies one way and the sefer implies another way. Let's see it inside. Hagufa Kashi, there's an internal contradiction over here. Omrit Knois Sharcha V'Shamru. First, Marshall said, you could bring it in, but you better watch it. So then here's a chayiv. If it damaged Marshall's stuff, Aaron is chayiv. Huzak, if it got damaged, it's potter. But that's only because Marshall told him straight out, watch it. Time Adam Alei Shama, that's only if he told him to make sure to watch it. Then the B'chayiv Balashah, then Aaron is chayiv of potter Balachotzer, and Marshall is potter. Hostama, if Marshall didn't say anything, implies that if he didn't say anything, then chayiv Balachotzer, then it's Marshall's responsibility because he said enter, or potter Balashah, and Aaron is exempt. The Bistama Mikabel Aleim Nitirusa, because when Marshall says enter, he meant that I accept responsibility. I expect responsibility. Then I'm a sefer. Look at the sefer that implies the opposite. Knois sharcha v'aniyesh merenu. If he says, bring in your shar and I'll watch it. Then, huzik chayiv. If Aaron's shar gets damaged, Marshall is chayiv. Hizik potter. If Aaron's shar damages Marshall's stuff, he's potter. But time Adam Alei Vaniyesh Merenu, that's only because Marshall said, I'll watch it. Mashma, if he didn't say anything, he's not accepting any responsibility. That time Adam Alei Vaniyesh Merenu, who the Mechai Balachotzer, Marshall is Chayiv Potter Balashar. Hostom, if he didn't say anything, Chayiv Balashar, then Marshall is off the hook. Aaron is Chayiv Potter Balachotzer. Why? Because since he didn't say anything, the Bistama Loik Mekabel Alei Nitirusa. So it's contradictory implications. So that the sefer that says that if Marshall doesn't say anything, he doesn't accept any responsibility, that's going according to Rebbe. Asan the Rebbe, the Amar Achia Kabbalei Nitirusa Balashar Balabayis Lishma. That's it's only if Marshall verbally accepts responsibility. Otherwise, he doesn't accept any responsibility. While the Reish is going according to Rabbanan. So ask Gemara, Reish Rabbanan. The Sefer Rebbe, is the Reish going according to Rabbanan and the Sefer is going according to Rebbe? Why isn't this charging? Why isn't this charging? Very strange. Anybody have an iPhone charger here? So says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Lazar, Tavra, indeed it's broken. Misha Shanazu, Lo Shanazu. The first teaching is going according to the Rabbanan, and the second teaching is going according to Rabbi. Rav Amar Kula Rabbanan he. It's all going according to the Rabbanan. Aidi Dinosiv Reisha Shamru, since it says that Marshall in Reisha, it's where Marshall said, you should guard your axe. Tana Seifa V'ani Eshmerno, I'll guard it. But Eina Chanami, even if he didn't say, I'll guard it, Minastam, if he said, let it come in, he meant, and I'll guard it. Rav Papa says, no. Kula Rebbe, it's all going according to Rebbe. That Marshall doesn't accept responsibility until he says, I'll watch it. However, V'savalok Rebbe Tarfon, the difference is that he holds like Rebbe Tarfon to Amar Karen B'chotzer HaNizik Nezik Shalom Mishalem. That if it's Karen in the owner's premises, then you got to pay a Nezik Shalom. Hilkach. Amalei Shamro, if Marshall told Aaron, you could bring in your ox, but you better watch it. So that means that he didn't cede the chotzer to Aaron at all. And therefore, since Aaron is not a shutif in the chotzer, havile keren b'chotzer anizik, then if it damages Marshall's shar, he's chayv nezik shalom. The keren b'chotzer anizik nezik shalom shalom. Lo yamalei shamru, if he didn't say I'll watch it, and that's why the implication is, if he didn't say you should watch it, even though if he didn't say you should watch it, he didn't accept responsibility to watch the shar, but still he gave him permission to be in the courtyard. So that if Aaron's axe damages, it's a chotzer hashutfin. It's not a chotzer hanizik. And if it's a chotzer hashutfin, then he's not going to pay a nezik shalom. He's only going to pay a chatzi nezik. V'avilei chotzer hashutfin, v'cheren b'chotzer hashutfin, and mishalem ela chatzi nezik. In other words, it's still, the halacha is like Rebbe, that even if he didn't tell him that, he didn't say anything, still Marshall didn't accept responsibility, and Aaron is going to be chayiv. But if he didn't tell Aaron to watch it, then he seated him right in the courtyard. Once he seeds him right in the courtyard, then when Aaron's shor damages Marshall's shor, it's Karen b'chotzer hashutfin. Karen b'chotzer hashutfin, when it's a tam, only pays a chatzi nezik. That's the difference. Okay, we'll stop over here now, Rabbi Yisai. And now we move on to the Chumash here.